Hello and welcome back to another past paper. This time it's for exam paper 0984. This is again IGCSE, but this is the number 1 to 9. This is specimen paper B from 2023. Specimen paper B. Okay, again, as always, no calculator is allowed for any computer science paper in terms of IGCSE, so please bear that in mind. Okay, should we start? Okay, binary is a number system used by computers. 4 8-bit binary values are given. Tick one of the boxes here to show which 8-bit binary value is the correct conversion for the denary value 50. Okay, they're all even numbers, so they've all got zeros, so we can't rule anything out straight away. But we could rule these two out. So, hello. Hiya.
You would have no plus.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. We can rule these two out because if we're doing an 8-bit number system, the last number in the sequence is 128. Yeah. So therefore, these two numbers here signify 64. Okay. Signify 64. So let me zoom in a little bit and I'll try and show you. Okay, we have 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. It's our 8-bit register. Okay, and as you can see here, we've got 2 at the second position, which would be 64. We need the value 50. Okay, so we need to look at these two. 50 is made up of none of those and none of those, but one of those and one of those would equal 48. 16 plus 32 equals 48. Okay, so I think we're going to get the answer as being B. Okay, here, 48, so none of those, one of those, and none of those. 1, 2, 3, so the correct answer there would be B. Okay, next thing we've got another value. Let's have a look, 90 this time. So again, 1, 2, 8, 64. Okay, so we can rule out C. Yeah. 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, 1. Sorry, I've read this wrong. One box to show which 8-bit binary value is the correct conversion for the hexadecimal value 90. Okay, so it could be that one. Let's not rule things out, because they like to put in trick questions. So if we take 90, that's 9 lots of 16. Yeah. To split it, that is 0 lots of 1. So that's what we're going to look at. It's basically 9 16s. Okay, so 9 times 16, 16 times 9. 9 sixes are, after our fingers, 54. 5. 9 ones are 9. Yeah, 144 is the answer we're looking for. 144. So I'm just going to put a little note in here. We're looking for 144. Yeah. So if I rub this out, I hope you got that. I hope that made sense. Yeah. 144. Obviously, 128 goes into 144. So it's got a 1. So it must be that one. Without doing the rest of it, it must be that one. Now, 144, just to check, minus 128 is 6, 1, 16. Yeah? So that means we've got no 64s, no 32s, 1 lot of 16, 0, 0, 0, 0. So the correct answer you can see there, 1 lot of 128, 1 lot of 16, it must be that. Okay? Okay, explain why a computer system can only process data in binary form. So obviously a computer system works in something called in digital states. Either on or off. Okay, these are represented with ones and zeros. So it works in digital states, either on or off. These are represented in zeros. We could mention as well users, switches, transistors, okay, for the on or off bit. Okay, so we've got 4 marks. Yeah, there. Right, nice and easy. Probably one of the easiest questions on the paper. This is worth 3 marks. Crazy. Okay, 2 8-bit binary values are given. Add the 2 8-bit values, give your answer in binary, show all your workings. Now, if you know how to do this, and I'll show you the way to do it, it's so easy. If you don't, convert these 2 values into denary, add them together, and then convert the denary value back into binary. Okay? But for this one, okay, 1 plus 0. We can only have 1s and 0s in binary. 1 plus 0 is 1. 1 plus 0 is 1. 0 plus 0 is 0. 1 plus 1 is 2. But 2 is represented as a 1, 0. So we do 0, carry the 1. 1 plus 1, again 0, carry the 1. 1 plus 1, 0, again carry the 1. Yeah, 1 plus 1, 0, and then carry the 1, and we've got that. Now your working out can simply be those 4 dots, those 4 representations of 1. Or you could have converted it into denary. But I think by now you all should be able to do that. Okay, you must remember that you can only have 0s and 1s. You cannot have the number 2. Number 2 equals 1, 0. Yeah. 3, if it ever came up, equals 1, 1. Yeah, so that would be it. Okay, 2 8-bit binary values are added together. The result of this calculation needs to be stored in an 8-bit register. Okay, we've just been looking at 8-bit registers. But we've got the denary value result of this calculation is 301. This generates an error. Okay, state the name of this type of error and explain why this error occurs. Okay, an 8-bit register, okay, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 1, 2, 8. Now if I'm just going to change the colour, if I put, magic pen, 1s in all of these registers and I added them all together, okay, 128 plus 64 plus 32 plus 16 plus 8 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1, I would get a grand total of 255, okay? So I cannot store the value 301 in this register because it only goes up to 255. I can only store 255 values. Okay, there we go. So we need to state what the error is. Okay, state the name of this type of error and explain why this error occurs. Well, the clue is in the name. It's called an overflow. Okay, an overflow. Okay, the number is too large for an 8-bit register as it can only hold up to 255. So it's called an overflow. That's worth 3 marks. Okay, the number is too large for the 8-bit register as it can only hold 255, as we've seen there. Okay, 3 marks. Another easy one. It's a lovely paper, this one. I know it's a specimen paper. The contents of 3 binary registers have been transmitted from one computer to another, across a network maybe. Okay, this is the key word. Even parity has been used as an error detection method. Even parity. The outcome after transmission is no errors have been detected in A and C, An error has been detected in register B. Okay, complete the parity bit for each register to show the given outcome. Okay, so key point here. Okay, so these are okay. Yeah, but this is wrong. Why is it wrong? Well, we'll see. We need to add either a 1 or a 0 as our parity bit to make it even. Okay, so if A is correct, 1, 1, 1, yeah, is 3. 3 is an odd number, so that must be a 1 in there. Okay, we'll do C. Again, 1, 2, 3, it must be a 1 in there to make it 4, to make it even. An error has been detected in register B. Complete the parity bit for each register to show the given outcomes. So we've got 1, 2. We must have a 1 in there as well to make that 3. So all of these parity bits must be 1. And that's it, 3 marks. A student uses a laptop and a calculator for schoolwork. The laptop has a CPU, a central processing unit, that performs the fetch, decode, execute cycle. The CPU has several components, including the memory data register, the MDR, and the arithmetic logic unit, the ALU. Describe how the MDR and the ALU are used in the fetch, decode, execute cycle. What does the MDR do, first of all? Okay, the MDR temporarily holds data. The MDR temporarily holds data being transferred to and from memory. Okay, that's what it does. Okay, how does it work in terms of the fetch, decode, execute cycle? Now, during the fetch stage, it stores instructions brought from memory. Okay, so that's during the fetch stage. And then obviously it decodes, and then it will do its decoding. But during the execute stage, the ALU carries out calculations. Okay, ALU, arithmetic and logical. Okay, so the MDR temporarily holds data being transferred to and from memory. During the fetch stage, it stores instructions brought from memory. During the execute stage, the ALU carries out calculations, arithmetic and logical. It's worth 5 marks. I think that would give us 5 marks. Okay, for 2 marks, we can go into a bit more detail here. The calculator has an embedded system. Okay, describe what is meant by an embedded system. Well, it is a small computer system designed to do one or a what can I use? What word? Significant, limited number of tasks. Okay, it's a small computer system designed to do one or a limited number of tasks. We've mentioned calculator, but maybe even anything with a little screen. So, e.g., microwave or a washing machine. Nice and easy. And then here we go. Both the laptop and the calculator have read-only memory ROM. State one reason why both devices have ROM. One reason. Stores permanent data. E.g. the boot startup instructions. Yeah, the boot setup. Okay, is it spelled permanent? I'm not sure. Okay. Question 4. Question 4. And then I might change my shirt because I'm running out of time. A student is concerned about the threats to their computer when using the internet. Oh dear. The student wants to use some security solutions to help protect the computer from threats. Identify a security solution system that could be used to protect the computer from a computer virus, hacking, and spyware. Each security solution must be different. Okay, because you could put firewall, firewall, firewall for all of these, I suppose. Yeah. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the easy ones. Anti. Okay? Anti, anti. Oh. Anti, anti. And the clue's in the question. Anti-spyware, anti-virus, and what I just mentioned before, a firewall. Okay, so antivirus, firewall, anti-spyware. Nice and easy. Okay, there's all sorts. I recommend these are probably the easiest ones. Okay, now we've got 6 marks. So that's 9 marks for this question. Now out of 75. Describe how each security solution you identified in A will help protect the computer. Computer antivirus or computer virus security solution. What will the antivirus do? Antivirus scans and removes potential threats that could cause malicious damage. Hacking security. Firewall. Polices. Scans. Incoming traffic from the internet. Brackets. Network. Incoming and outgoing. Incoming and outgoing. Outgoing. Not that any outgoing would potentially be a threat, but yeah. And finally, anti-spyware. Anti-spyware. What does anti-spyware do? Detects and removes any software which which has been designed to gather designed to secretly gather user information. Okay, anti-spyware detects and removes any software which has been designed to secretly gather user information. A firewall polices scans incoming traffic from the internet network and outgoing traffic. Antivirus scans and removes potential threats that could cause malicious damage. Okay, so that is 6 marks plus 3 marks, 9 marks. Now then, question 5. Lots of words here, lots of words. Let me see if I can just reduce it a little bit so you can see everything. Hopefully you can still read this. Complete the statements about different types of programming language. Use the terms from the list. Some of the terms in the list will not be used. Well, no. You should only use a term once. Good. Good. Sometimes it says twice. The structure of language statements in a computer program is called the syntax. So, yeah, syntax. Okay. A programming language that uses natural language statements is called something language. So it's either a high-level language or a low-level language. It's going to be a high level. Okay, so I can guarantee that somewhere down here is going to be a low-level language. Okay, when programs are written in this type of language, they need a some kind of translator. There we go, translator, high level, a translator. Not an assembler. It's going to translate from one language to convert them into, well, don't get fooled, it's either low-level language or machine code. Okay, but in this case, because it's translating, it's going to translate it into machine code. Okay, a programming language that is written using mnemonic codes is called an, there's your clue if you know English, it's called an, must begin with a vowel, yeah, an assembly language. Yeah, and then this is an example of a low level. Okay, so we've got low level, high level, machine codes, translator, syntax, and assembly. We don't need executive, yeah, that's all good, that makes sense. Yeah, 6 marks, that's too many words, okay, too many words. Right, what does the IDE do? The programmer often uses an integrated development environment, an IDE, when writing a computer program. It could be something like Python idle, it could be Apple Xcode, I suppose, or Xcode's a program. It could be VS, so it could be something like Python idle. It could be VS Code. That's quite a nice one. It could even be PyCharm or something like that if we're talking Python. So say 3 common functions of the IDE. Well, obviously it's a code editor. It allows you to edit code. Yeah. I'm going to put something down here. You see this more in A-level and IB questions, but pretty print. Pretty print. Formatting. Color coding. Coding. Code. Okay. If you've got variables, constants, it will put them in a different color as opposed to functions might be in one color, the print statement and things. But no, pretty print you can sort of identify quickly, and such as the comments would be in a different color as well. So very good, pretty print. Code editing, pretty print. Maybe something like and then maybe something like debugging. Debugging. Or translating. Debugging, maybe translating, compiling, assembling. Yeah, but code editing, pretty printing, debugging, I think that's more than enough. Okay? Yep. Okay, what's happened there? A finance company uses cloud storage to archive their accounts. Describe what is meant by cloud storage. Okay, storing your files, data remotely. Remotely on servers, accessed via, it's only 2 marks this, via the internet. I'll put an example, e.g. Google Drive, okay, Dropbox, Microsoft OneDrive. Yeah, 2 marks, nice and easy. Okay, the computer in the finance company uses both primary and secondary storage. One example of primary storage is ROM. What else could it be? RAM, really, that's the only one you could start talking about level 1, level 2, level 3 cache, but no, we'll look at RAM and ROM. Okay, 2 examples of secondary. Again, we can talk about compact discs and DVDs and things, but really the 2 which you need to know, the hard drive, okay, HDD, hard disk drive, and SSD, the solid state drive. Okay, 2 marks again. Now, what's this? 4 marks. Describe how virtual memory is created and used. Okay. It's basically memory that is created from space on the hard drive. Memory that's created from space on the hard drive when RAM memory is running low. Okay, but that's not going to get us 4 marks. So what we need to talk about, so we could do with talking about sort of what type of data is moved. Okay. Infrequently used data. Okay. Infrequently used data is transferred to virtual memory to allow the RAM to deal with frequently used processors. Okay, I think that would get us 4. Memory that is created from space on the hard drive when RAM memory is running low. Infrequently used data is transferred to virtual memory to allow the RAM to deal with more frequently used processors. Yeah. Okay, 4 marks. And then we will come on to question 7. Okay, and I'll leave that there for now. Okay, question 7. In a computer system, the operating system is run directly on the firmware. Okay. Identify which type of software runs directly on the operating system. Okay, that's the thing. Identify which type of software runs directly on the operating system. Basically, anything you install on your computer lives on the operating system, generally speaking. So anything like Adobe Photoshop, Microsoft Office, any kind of software, browser, will work on the operating system. This type of software is called application software. Okay. 7b, one function of an operating system is to manage interrupts. Give 2 examples of when an interrupt would be generated. Well, if you press keys on the keyboard, Control-Alt-Del, you will get the keyboard to, you will get the computer to sort of hang, to pause. Okay, so key press or multiple key press, E.G, Control Alt Del. Okay, and then something else that might cause an interrupt would be an output device, something like a printer running out of paper or jamming. So we'll put printer. Jam or out of paper. A message would be sent back to the computer, maybe pause the computer until this processor certainly wouldn't print anything, and if there was a paper jam or if there was no paper. Okay, question 8. Digital currency can be used to buy products from the World Wide Web. State what is meant by digital currency. Well, it's basically money that only exists in digital form. Okay, used, e.g. Apple Pay, used for online transactions. Okay, it's only worth 1 mark. And then for 2 marks, describe the process of blockchain in digital currency. Well, blockchain is basically keeping a record of all these online digital transactions. So it is a digital ledger ledger to store. Used to store digital trans. Yeah, each block is linked to the previous once a transaction has been recorded, it cannot be amended. It is extremely secure. Okay, I think that's more than enough for 2 marks. It is a digital ledger used to store digital transactions. Yeah. Each block is linked to the previous one. Yeah, once a transaction has been recorded, it cannot be amended. It is extremely secure. Okay. This is an interesting one. The following data is stored as a text file. That's important. I'll show you why. Red, green, yellow, green, purple, blue, red, purple, blue, yellow, grey, black, pink, red. There are some repeating words within this text file. Okay? Explain how lossless compression would compress this file. Well, let's think about lossless. Makes the file size smaller. No loss of quality. Same as original. Okay, so that's 2 marks, but how does it do it? Okay, how does it do it in this case? Well, how can we do this? Repeated words. Such as red or purple can be stored once, but with a count. E.G 3 times red. Okay, 3 times red. This, yeah, 3 times red. That would be 5 characters as opposed to red, 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 which would be 9 characters. Okay, we could use an index, yeah, which stores all values once, yeah, but with a count attached. Yeah, I think that's what it's maybe trying to get at using an index. Okay, but 1, 2, 3, yeah, I would say that would get us 5 marks. Okay, that's question 9. Question 10. An expert system. Okay. Question 10. An expert system is of artificial. An expert system is an example of artificial intelligence. Okay. One component of an expert system is a knowledge base. Explain why an expert system needs a knowledge base. I'm going to draw this out. Little man, you may have seen this diagram, okay, needs some advice, okay? So he asks for advice. Yeah, he asks for advice. What is he asking for advice? Well, he's going to use a user interface, yeah, which is linked to something called an inference engine. Okay. Hello. Hey, how are you?
Hi, alhamdulillah.
Good. So the user asks for advice. He uses a user interface to connect to the knowledge base. The knowledge base has something called an inference engine in it, which again talks to, yeah, what they call this bit, the knowledge base. Okay, basically a great big database of knowledge, okay, which talks to that. Experts, yeah, scientists, weird people, yeah, feed information into the knowledge base. They give their information to the knowledge base. So once they've got the knowledge, it's gone through the inference engine, then it comes back to the user as, so seeking advice, he gets feedback. So he asks for advice, he submits a query through the user interface into the inference engine. The knowledge base is there as a big database, and that gets fed back, and that gives the user some feedback. It stores facts and rules used by the system. And I'll just put simulates human decision making. Okay, identify 3 other components that are present in an expert system. User interface, as you can see here, and inference engine. Well, what's the third one? I'll give you 4. Okay, we've got something called a rule base, which is part of the knowledge base. Okay, something called rule base, and we could argue we've got some kind of an explanation system as well. But if you've got those, user interface, inference engine, and a rule base, that would be sufficient. Here's for 1 marks. An expert system can make use of machine learning. State what is meant by machine learning. ML, machine learning, is when the system improves its performance or responses based on what it knows, has learnt already. Okay, so it's builds on its own prior knowledge. Okay, so I think 1, 3, 6, 7 marks there. Okay, and then final question. What time is it? Final question, always the sensor question, usually worth a lot of marks. In this case, 1, 2, 6, 9 marks. 9 marks for this. Okay, so let's go through it together. An office as an automated lighting system. When movement is detected in the office, the lights are switched on. If movement is not detected for a period of 2 minutes, the lights are switched off. The system uses a sensor and a microprocessor. Identify the most appropriate sensor. An infrared, I'm going to put motion. Based on this, a motion sensor. Describe what is meant by a microprocessor. The clue's in the name. I'm going to put a small computer, on a tiny chip that is designed to do one specific job, okay, or a few different jobs, or a few different jobs. Yeah, a small computer on a tiny chip that is designed to do one specific job, used to control the processors in the embedded system. Okay, a small computer on a tiny chip that is designed to do one specific job. It's used to control the processors in the embedded system for this particular one, to turn the lights on and off. So, describe how the sensor and the microprocessor are used in this automated system. We have infrared sensor, okay, and that's detecting movement. Sensing, detecting movement. The infrared sensor is connected to an ADC, convert digital analog to digital signal. Okay? So what happens? The infrared sensor sends signals continuously to an ADC, which converts the analog to digital, converts the signal into analog, from analog into digital. It sends this digital information to the microprocessor. Microprocessor continuously reads and compares the digital data to stored values in a database. Okay? If a difference is detected, signifying movement, a signal is sent for lights to be turned on. If no difference is detected for 2 minutes, lights are turned off. Okay? So, analyze. Okay? So, infrared sensor detects movement. ADC converts the analog to digital signal sent by the sensors to a microprocessor. The microprocessor continuously reads and compares the digital data that's being sent to values stored in the database on the microprocessor. If a difference is detected, maybe in the range, then a signal is sent for the lights to be turned on. Okay? If no difference is detected after 2 minutes, then the lights are turned off. Okay, always useful to have a little drawing if you've got room, on a census question, so you can see what you are doing with it. ADC, please include that. Please include the word continuous. Okay, so that is it for this question. So good luck, have a little go. If you've got any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. Okay, thank you very much indeed. Bye for now. Thank you. Please continue to ask questions, leave your comments, hit notifications, and please subscribe. And finally, if you wish to buy me a coffee, I'd be truly grateful. Please visit buymeacoffee.com/Lossless. learning zone. Thank you very much indeed. See you next time. Bye for now.